Maleki is a senior U.S. Treasury official and also currently a senior advisor at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Miyad, it's great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me on.
Wondering if we could start by perhaps you give us a sense of the economic blow to Iran that could be caused by this U.S. blockade, perhaps an estimate of the oil exports that it stands to lose.
That's a really good question. So, we're coming out of, weeks of an airstrike campaign that really caused significant damage to Iran's, not just armed forces and government facilities and its political leadership, but also it caused some severe damage to Iran's ability to produce steel, petrochemicals, and that has already kind of affected Iran's ability to, let's say, collect taxation. And look at it this way: 43% of government revenue comes from taxation. They collect taxes and they pay salaries of government employees. And when you don't have your steel companies producing, when you don't have your petrochemical companies producing, when everything is closed down, you're not able to collect taxes. What really made that worse, and it's been overlooked, really, is the fact that the regime has shut down its internet for now over 47 days. Now, internet plays a key role in Iran's economy, just like any other countries. But what's different here is that, oil and petrochemicals and natural gas, these are all government-controlled industries and economic sectors. So what's really left for ordinary Iranians and private sector is really the internet. And the government has shut that down for 47 days. That puts more pressure, not just on tax revenue, but also it has created a significant unemployment rate, which was 30% before the start of the war. Now it's going to be way more. And according to regime's own numbers, the internet shutdown is causing somewhere around $35 to $50 million a day in economic damages. So now fast forward to this blockade. This blockade is going to block the export of Iranian crude oil, petrochemicals, non-oil exports, and gas. And the Strait of Hormuz and Persian Gulf accounts for 90% of Iran's export. And that's around $276 million a day. Now, Iran also imports almost everything from Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz. That's around $160 million a day. So putting all of that together, Iran's economy is way more susceptible to a collapse if this blockade continues and if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed.
And because of that fragile state of the economy, I mean, just as according to the numbers you lay out, some 276 million already lost in the first day of this blockade. Tomorrow, another day. Could the disruption to Iran's exports be enough, you think, to actually pressure the regime to head back to the negotiating table, maybe even give up a point or two?
I've been in the government. I've been on the other side of the negotiations in the government, U.S. government. I've seen Iranians don't really come to negotiate in a way that would really make sense economically. And, when they went to Pakistan over the weekend, I was looking at the economic numbers, at inflation rate, the Iran value to dollar, which is at 1.4 million rial to dollar. It's really the state of crisis economically. And I really thought they're going to give up something. They're going to settle for an agreement. And the way that things went, once again, I was surprised that they didn't go for a deal. Now, I think with this blockade, the regime is going to be left with two options here: accept some kind of a compromise on the 10 points that they've put before the U.S. government, or the U.S. government has put before them, or just let the economy collapse. That's really the reality of the state of the economy right now.
I have about 30 seconds left with you. Just curious, I mean, is it possible that these hardships will trickle down to the Iranian civilians, similar to what we're seeing in Cuba, for example, since the start of January?
Absolutely. I think that's a concern. Now, the reality is, even if you have humanitarian trade going to these ports, the regime is going to take it, sell it in the market, generate more revenue. I'm not saying it shouldn't go, But I'm just not really optimistic that this humanitarian flow to these ports is going to really change things on the ground. The regime has caused so much suffering for its people that that is not going to be really worried about a more dire situation economically internally. But at the same time, they know that domestically they're going to have to deal with a failed economy.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Miyad, thank you so much for your time. Miyad Maleki, appreciate your perspective.
Thanks for having me.